is back again with another random live stream video. I decided just right now that the show is now called Random Live Stream Videos. That concept being that there is no concept. We're not trying to do anything in particular. We're just trying to, shoot the shit a little bit, talk some stuff, have a great time, and talk about the world, etc. and so forth. These videos used to be a way to promote my film Magenta. Then it turned into a way to promote my film The Bond. Those are both on the back burner. Now we're just doing it to do it. So if you're watching, thanks. This is something that will eventually evolve back into the Jaron Ikner show and the other live stream shows that we used to do. But for now, we're just figuring it out. Because at the end of the day, we're still trying to finish not Magenta. I have Magenta on my mind all day today. Sorry, The Bond. We're still trying to finish The Bond. We're basically, we have a couple more scenes to shoot, and then we're in the post-production phase. We're actually doing both simultaneously, so by the time that we're done shooting, the film will actually be pretty close to done. And then at that point, I'm going to switch focus back to my album and some other projects that I'm working on, including the soundtrack. And from there, we're going to get back into Magenta, which was the movie that we were going to be making before we had started doing The Bond. But then the pandemic hit, things got kind of wild. And from there, we pivoted. You guys all already know the story by now. If you've watched these videos or have any kind of semblance to what I've been doing lately, you know the story by now. We're making The Bond now. Almost done. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into this. So today I want to talk about two things mainly. The first being the rising phenomenon of NFTs and what are NFTs and what they mean and why artists should get into NFTs because they're about to take over the game, basically. Like, it's something that is basically a crazy phenomenon coming at the right time for artists to really capitalize on their financial situations and own their own work digitally. It's really a game changer. So I had a conversation with my girlfriend last night, and she was like, you really should make a video about NFTs because you explained it so well. You broke things down in a way that were easy to understand for the average person. I'm going to attempt to do the same. I'm doing this as a live stream, so obviously this is not edited. So I'm going to probably fluff over some details. If that's the case, please correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Anyways, so the metaphor that I use, first of all, let's talk about cryptocurrency. As you know, cryptocurrency is a wave that's popping off right now, et cetera, so forth. Has been for a while, but now, we got Bitcoin at $50,000, et cetera, so forth. It's now hitting the mainstream world, and interest has been rising almost exponentially on a daily basis as corporations and companies begin to invest into Bitcoin. Tesla just dropped a couple $1 billion in Bitcoin, et cetera, so forth. So, with all that in mind, what is an NFT? Now, so basically the short of it is that NFT is basically digital art, kind of similar to when an artist makes a painting in physical form. That artist is the person who created the original piece of art, would take that to a gallery or something like that, and then auction it off to people in an attempt to make some money off it. And that's usually how a lot of artists make their money. They make paintings, they'll do art showings in galleries. People go in there and they buy their art. But when you buy a piece of art, especially a painting, it's an original piece of work, right? Like, if I go and I buy one of my paintings, like this painting over here that's down here in the corner, or maybe this painting from Sabrina, I'm the only person who owns that painting. Like, that is my painting because I bought it, and it's the original piece of work. So yeah, at some point somebody can maybe take a photo of it and sell that as a poster or et cetera, so forth. But at the end of the day, the original version of that art belongs to me, and that's what creates value when it comes to art. So how does this apply to NFTs? So with NFTs, the concept is kind of similar, except it's all digital. So, for example, Bad Baby, Cash Me Outside Girl, she actually just announced, I think today, that she's auctioning off the the original Cash Me Outside meme that went viral and basically launched her career. At that point, the question is, well, how does that work? How is she able to do that? Well, one, because she's the image in the meme, there's a certain law, I don't know the exact name of it. It's like a fair use type of deal where it's like if someone recreates a picture of you or uses your picture in your art or a meme or whatever, you have rights to that. So she automatically has the rights to that meme. It's her in the picture. Um, because of this, um, she's now basically taking that original meme, even though the meme has been replicated, duplicated, altered, all this stuff. She's taking that original meme, and I think she's adding like some bonus tracks and some other stuff, etc. and so forth. Um, but once she puts it on the site, whatever, there's a variety of different sites which I'll talk about. Basically, she's putting it up on auction, meaning that, and I think the way that she was doing it is that she's basically selling 20 shares or 20 NFTs. I think it might have been 50, but she's selling only a certain number of shares or digital property around this meme. Sorry, I'm kind of multitasking here. But so the way that works is that so she throws it up on there, and then the auction goes on sale. People can then bid to own a piece of this digital possession, X amount of Ethereum, however they decide to make that bid. So when they do this, just like any other auction, like an art gallery, people make a bid, blah blah blah. Whoever gets the highest bidder gets to own that digital share of that meme. So at that point, the 20 or 50 people, whatever the number was, they now own a piece of that original meme. Now, with this particular situation, it's a little bit confusing because with memes themselves don't have much value, but now that NFTs are a thing, they actually will begin to gain value, especially with memes with historical value. And the fact that this particular meme with Cash Me Outside Girl, that meme launched her entire career. So there's a whole historical value behind that. And as she gets more successful, she just turned 18. As she gets more and more successful, that original meme goes up in value just naturally because that's how it works. So then all those people who invested into that meme, all of a sudden their value of that Ethereum or wherever they donated goes up in value as well. Just like if you had a piece of art that you buy at an art gallery from whoever, from me, and I blow up, now all of a sudden my art's worth more money. Same type of concept. The metaphor that I used to break this down to my girlfriend was a little bit different. I can kind of compare NFTs to Uber, like Ubering. Like let's say that you own a car, you own a vehicle, and the way that works, obviously, is that you have the keys to your car, and at some point in time you can Uber your car out to other people. You can pick people up. They give you money, and they'll drive. You get to drive them around, right? That's usually how it works. The only difference between this and NFT is that the person who would give you the money would stay in the car. And while they're in the car, the value of said vehicle would go up. It wouldn't depreciate, it would go up as that car continues to, upgrade itself, put more money into itself, pick up more passengers, gain more notoriety. The value of that car goes up. And the more people that are in the vehicle, the higher chances of the value, or the more people all the people that are in the vehicle now have an investment in that vehicle. So that they want to see that vehicle. It's just like a stock, but it's a digital stock. So after that long-winded explanation, how does this work for you, Mr. Artist watching this video? The 3 or 4 people that might watch this video. Well, I am currently working on my very first NFT right now as we speak. I'm not going to tell you what it is quite yet, and I'm still in the process of waiting for this damn coin to get approved, because you do have to pay an initial fee to set everything up. It's called a gas fee. The way the gas fee works, it's through Ethereum. If you're familiar with crypto, you know how a gas fee works, and I'm not going to really dive into it too much, but you have to pay an initial gas fee to get this set up. Once you pay that first gas fee, you can post as many NFTs as you want. It's unlimited, etc. So forth. So I'm still waiting for my gas to go through so I can get this all set up. But I will have my first NFT probably hopefully set up by the end of today, and it will be up for auction here soon. The idea is that my fans, anybody who's into crypto, anybody who is into anything of the sort, might want to throw a couple coins at this NFT, because as my star power and my notoriety begins to rise, or even just the value of the internet begins to rise, that artwork's only going to rise in value too. And I just gave away what I was doing. Damn. Anyways, that piece of NFT that I'm putting out will rise in value as well. And it'd be a good investment for anybody who knows me personally, and is involved in this futuristic wave right now. So on a personal tip, if you're an artist watching this, like, oh man, how do I get involved? Look up OpenSea, get your Coinbase up, and do a little bit of research. I'm not going to give you details in this video. I might actually make a tutorial video over on my Jaron Ikner page on how to set up an NFT. But just do a little bit of research, get your coins right. I know some of you have been dropping coins in Bitcoin and Ethereum and Dogecoin on Robinhood. So, transfer them out to Coinbase and get that all set up. But you can do anything as an NFT. Any piece of digital work can be used as an NFT. Anything. So this can be from a tweet. This can be a piece of album cover artwork, songs, photos, memes. Anything that can be digitally manifested can be turned into an NFT. So this goes beyond just like rap songs, or just beyond photos, or just beyond videos. You can literally do anything that your mind is capable of. As I was doing research last night, and I wish I could have better setup right now, but I don't. But somebody sold a photo for $6.6 million. This is famous, but that's whatever. After doing more research on this, I saw that somebody just sold an NFT for $500,000. I looked at this NFT. What was it? It was a picture, a digital render of a room. Like someone made a digital render of a room. Like it wasn't this room, but let's say it was this room, right? Sold it for $500,000 in Ethereum. Now, a person who is not in the know is probably wondering, well, how is that gonna make money? You have to think about how ubiquitous the internet is and how fluid the internet is. That picture of that photo, that photo of that rendering of that room could go up on like a site like Storyblocks or any of the many stock photo sites and be sold for X amount of dollars for anybody who needs a picture of a room for their site. And as people go and buy that photo, that value of that goes up. So on a small, very small scale, if you're an independent artist trying to figure this out, you could take your next single or take the artwork for your next single, throw it up as an NFT, right? Maybe a couple people have been on it, because a lot of people are trying to get involved in this right now. This is a rising wave right now, so this is why you should probably try to get on this now. Someone might throw 0.002 Ethereum at it, right? But at least you sold it. And if you get more successful, and as your star starts to rise, and as your clout gets stronger, that NFT is only going to go up in value. Meaning that that's residual money. That's not only that, but you also own that property outright. You don't have to ever worry about someone stealing your stuff, because you own that digital token attached to that. It's almost like if you bought a piece of artwork from a gallery. If you go do that, typically speaking, they give you a certificate of authenticity. Can't speak right now. They give you a certificate saying that this is real. And it's the same type of deal. It's like a digital certificate. So if you go and buy a picture of me going like this on YouTube, you're the person that owns that. That digital token is going to be your receipt. And if someone decides to use it, I actually don't know how far that goes when I say this part, but there could be legalities involved where it's like, oh, someone used this in a movie or something like that. I do believe, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that you can use your NFT as almost like a digital copyright. Please correct me if I'm wrong on that. Please correct me. Anyways, I think you guys get the point. Please do some research on this, because I'm telling you guys, this is the way right now. And as I'm saying right now, I said earlier, I'm currently in the process of trying to set up my very first NFT. There will be other NFTs involved. It's going to be a whole thing. I'm very excited about this because I've always been the type to be forward thinking, and this is something that I think is really going to protect artists and protect the art in an interesting, unique way. So, and I will say this: there is a lot of legwork involved and a lot of research, and this is a new area with cryptocurrency and a lot of stuff for the average person. It might be a lot to take on. This is why I say do your research, ask questions, don't be afraid. I do think I will make a video about my process of uploading my first NFT on my Jaron Ikner Jaron Ikner account. I'll post a link somewhere. Check that out. But telling y'all. Anyways, next topic. This is for the filmmakers, screenwriters, etc. so forth. As I finish my film, The Bond, which is in the works of being finished, I'm watching these scenes, and as I'm watching these scenes, I'm like, man, these are really great scenes. I'm not even trying to be on my own. I'm just trying to say that these scenes are really great, and the reason why these scenes are great is because of what I've learned in film school and so my screenwriting classes on what makes a great scene a great scene. And this applies to literally anything. Anything. Oh, phone buzzing. Let's turn that off. The secret is one word. One word. Conflict. Conflict is a secret to any scene. Any scene. Anything. If you cause a conflict or create a conflict in any scene, your scene is vastly more interesting than what it was before. Let's start with a very simple example. The scene is that dude walks into the kitchen and makes himself a cup of coffee, right? He's by himself, right? So I know a lot of people are thinking, well, how do you create conflict if there's not something or someone to create conflict in? Well, this opportunity of him walking into the kitchen is an opportunity for you to do multiple things. One, develop a character. Two, create a conflict. And three, progress the story. So instead of thinking it as, oh, he's walking into this room and making himself a cup of coffee, you have to ask yourself, where am I trying to get my character to be? Let's say that he's on his way to work. Let's say that he's on his way to work and usually he goes and makes coffee. Now, obvious scenario would be like, maybe he spills the coffee. Maybe he's clumsy and he knocks the coffee over because he's a clumsy dude. And this is an opportunity for you to show that. Maybe he gets a phone call from somebody that causes him to spill his coffee. And now that he spilled his coffee, he's running late. Boom. All of a sudden you have a conflict. This is just a very small example, but the idea is that by creating conflict, you put the viewer into a scenario where it's like, damn, what would I do? Or what would I say? Or how would I respond? Or how would I react as that person? Like I said, this is a very small example. This can apply to anything. Another example is, let's say that you're walking a dog. The scene is somebody walking a dog. And once again, you have to think about what you're trying to do with this scene. There's always a purpose for every scene that you write. There shouldn't be scenes that are just there to be there. The only exception to the rule that I have in my head is credit sequences. That's the only time that you have frivolous scenes. Well, people walking, except stuff like that. But person walking dog. Opportunity to tell a story and progress the character's development and let the viewer know what the character is like. Also gives you opportunity to create conflict. So, the obvious answer is that one of the dogs run away. Or maybe one of the dogs poop and she steps in the poop and now she has poop on her shoes and now she has to go home and get new shoes. I'm saying, like, the idea is that if you create scenarios where the viewer's watching this and they see the conflict, automatically, subconsciously, we're already trying to solve the solution in your head. So by creating these compelling scenes where conflict always exists, it doesn't matter what the conflict is. It could be the smallest thing, from spilling your coffee to arguing about a divorce. Shout out to Marriage Story, great movie. The idea is that you want to pull the viewer in, and viewers love smoke. Think about car accidents, right? Most of the traffic jams that you see that involve car accidents have less to do with the car accident themselves and more to do with the people trying to see the conflict and see the car accident as they're driving by. And that's why you get that slow in traffic. Because people always want to see things through with conflict. And so if you're creating conflict in every single scene, especially if there's an overarching story that where this conflict is being extrapolated and expanded upon in every scene based off the actions of the character, your viewer is gonna be invested for the entire film. I know this because even as I send out rough cuts of the Bond, every scene has a conflict in it. Besides the credit sequence, right? Because it is shots of people walking. Spoiler. Every scene has some sort of conflict, and it can be a minor conflict where it's just like a disagreement, or it could be something more serious, like go get a job before you get kicked out of the house, or it could be something way, way, way serious, like I'm gonna murder you. But there's always levels, and as long as that conflict is there, as I said before, the viewer will always be invested into where you're trying to go next. And I know it sounds kind of weird because I think that not most screenwriters, but a lot of people, beginner screenwriters, they think that we have to get to the conflict, right? We have to set things up and we have to build. But, and this is another screenwriting tip that might be another video. One thing that I've learned is that when writing a screenplay, writing a scene, get in as late as possible and get out as early as possible. So, prime example, typical mistakes that people make in beginning screenwriting is they always have person wake up in the morning at the top of the screenplay. Like, oh, I'm waking up. And then they wake up and then they get dressed. And then they get in the car. And then they drive to work. And then they do work for a little bit. And then the boss comes and tells them something. And that's when the movie starts. And what you done, like that might happen at the 10-minute mark where it's like the boss is like, oh, you're fired. But then you spent 10 minutes just like feeding the audience along on something that doesn't really pull in their interest. What you could do, scrap all that. Like, you know, people wake up in the morning, you know, people drive to work, you know, all this stuff. The viewer is not dumb. So you just start there at the boss. You start with him in the office and the boss comes up and he says you're fired. Start there, because you have a conflict, and once again, you're getting in getting in as late as possible, and you're getting out as early as possible. That scene can be 30 seconds, and you could probably establish the character way better in that 30 seconds, way faster in that 30 seconds than you would showing the audience how he wakes up and how he eats Eggo waffles, etc. and so forth. Just knowing how to use that conflict to your advantage is a cheat code to writing a really, really strong scene. And I can dive into many, many examples in every film that I could think of, but conflict is what drives stories. Like, conflict is what movies are really all about. Movie starts, person is in their world, life is going how life goes for them, and then the inciting incident is usually a conflict. And that conflict usually is what carries the movie all the way until the end, until we have a resolution to said conflict. So that's movies in general. But in each individual scene, as you progress, you also have mini conflicts. And these mini conflicts are designed to really develop the character into who you want the character to be at the end of the movie. Opportunities for the character to change in a different direction, but they decide not to because of the fact that they're stubborn and they want to be in their old world before the conflict happened. The resistance is actually a better word than conflict the way I just want to actually talk about this, but resistance is the key because, and this is why I tell people, is that every single movie, for the most part, when it comes to like, you know, a protagonist going on a hero's journey, always has the same thing. And that usually has to do with the main character being resistant to change until shit gets too real, and then all of a sudden they have to let go, stop being resistant, let go of the conflict. And when they let go of the conflict, the movie gets boring. That's when you roll credits. But as long as you have the conflict going the entire time, then you're maintaining a certain air of interest. Yep. So when you go write your next screenplay, think about that. Think about your scenes, and think about how can you add more conflict that's logical and progressive to the story and the growth of the character. Once you figure out this cheat code, all your movies and all your screenplays are going to be a lot better. You can make a short film. Like most of my short films that you've seen, if you go check out Thanks for Playing, or the one I just dropped called Psycho 47, or Paradox Hotel, or Madness, all four of those short films that I put out are very condensed short films, but the reason why they work so well is because they center on conflict. Something happens and you have to figure it out. There's a conflict, or there's a hint of struggle and conflict in the dialogue. Things that will make you be like, well, what would I do? Anyways, we're wrapping up for today. Thanks for watching Random Live Show. We're back again randomly with another random live show. There's no rhyme or reason to these, but eventually we will get back to the good stuff, the Jaron Ikner Show, etc. Expect the Jaron Ikner Show to be back probably this fall. We have a lot of big plans in mind, a lot of really, really crazy plans in mind with me and my team for the next year or so. One of them includes bringing back the Jaron Ikner Show. If you don't know what the Jaron Ikner Show is, go check out my Facebook page. Jaron Ikner has me going like this and all white. Go check out some episodes. It's a pretty good show. We'll be bringing back season 2 here very soon. In the meantime, you know, continue to like, follow, subscribe, everything that is Jaron Ikner related. I really need to desperately update my website. I know I'm gonna get to it here soon, but I've been finishing this movie. So go check out JaronIkner.com. You will see old music videos. You will see some bios, stuff like that. And you know, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate y'all. We will be back again soon. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Peace. Work. Button. X. Go. There we go. Peace.